Thank you, Marwan, and thank you, Comrade Pagan, for your time again. My question is like a summary of the viewers' many of the viewers' questions. Actually, under our first interview, Comrade Pagan, on Facebook, there is over 500 comments and questions, and some of them praise you as a great leader, and some of them criticize you as a person, as SPLM, one of the SPLM leadership, and the SPLM leadership as whole. They criticize you and they say you are all failures and you are all corrupt. For example, they say that you were involved in as an official, as the SPLM Secretary General, you were involved in investment, in an investment venture, telecommunications company called VivaCell, with they say with your family. And so the question they are hovering around is, now where did you get the capital for that investment? Where did you get the capital from? Was it profitable? And if it were profitable, where is the money now? And also, questions of conflict of interest are raised around that of public office holders in South Sudan, in the SPLM, public office holders, their involvement in business is a conflict of interest issue. And some of them cited in history, the British colonial officials around the world in the colonies, they were banned from doing business. And now the SPLM office holders, public office holders, they get involved in business. So people wonder whether you are aware of this issue as part of corrupt practices, or are you not aware? So that is the question I have made out of the questions of the people who spoke to me, people who commented under our first interview. So I would like you to comment on all these issues. Unmute yourself.
Yes, the viewers, of course, have every right to take positions on these issues. Those who support my position and what I have been saying as the right thing, and those who are critical and disagreeing with what I'm saying and maybe even condemning me, they have also that right. Now, the story that we are all failures, I would say yes, we have failed, but there are two types of failures here. There is the failure caused by those who dishonored the vision and the program of SPLM, those who have gone in the direction of looting the country and engaging in corruption. There is one type of a mistake, which is against the vision of the SPLM, and they cause the SPLM to fail. That is one failure. It is not everybody. There are some, and they are very clear. Then there are those in the SPLM who fail to stop the hijacking of SPLM, who failed to democratize the SPLM. There are those who fail to ensure that the policies of SPLM are implemented against the opposition and resistance and obstruction from the other side, from the first group. Those who hijacked the SPLM and failed the SPLM because they betrayed the vision of SPLM. Now, our failure, I consider myself belonging to the second part. We failed to democratize the SPLM. We failed to make sure and defend the SPLM to remain and become a genuinely leading ruling party. That we failed. But that failure did not happen while we were lying down or we ran away. No. We tried our best. We failed in the process. But when we were failing, we were silenced. Violence was used against us. We were detained and arrested. We almost lost our life in the process. That is a fact. Go back to 2013. What were we talking about? In the political bureau, we were talking how to make the SPLM a democratic organization that is capable of criticizing itself, correcting itself every time, correcting its own mistakes. Who stopped that? President Kiir stopped it. What happened in 2013? We came out against corruption. We ended up being accused and charged ourselves that we were corrupt. And that is the tactics that President Kiir has been using to charge those who speak out against his corrupt practices or against his dictatorship. He accused them of committing treason against the state and being against the country, and they tried to question our patriotism and nationalism. But these are tools that always all dictators use. So in the process, we failed to make the SPLM a ruling party. And Kiir succeeded to drill the SPLM, to hijack the SPLM, to destroy the SPLM, because SPLM is policies. It is its policies what constitute the SPLM. So in that sense, yes, we have failed. Now coming to the question about that we were engaged in corruption. It cannot be true. If one is corrupt, you cannot talk about corruption, because you will easily be exposed. And we talked about the need to fight corruption and not to cover it up. We said, don't just write letters to 75 people and you just leave them. You accuse everybody while allowing the real thieves and the real corrupt to hide behind that. This is wrong way. And I personally confronted President Kiir in several occasions, including in front of foreign leaders. Of some foreign leaders when we were discussing these issues very seriously. President Kiir and those in the leadership of SPLM know this very well. So it was not a talk behind his back, no. But what was the outcome? The outcome precisely is that I am in exile today because of that, because of this confrontation, because of trying to correct this problem. Now, it is good that he mentioned that I was engaged and involved in making business while I was a public official. I was Secretary General of the SPLM, and Vivacell actually was a telecom company, the license of which was issued before the peace agreement. It was issued during the liberation struggle to provide telecom in the liberated areas. And the SPLM, it was issued to the SPLM, not to me as a person or Pagan. And my involvement was that I was the Secretary General, and what happened was that the SPLM founded a company by the name Wawat Securities as a 100% fully owned company held in trust by the directors of the company, who have signed an undertaking and a legal agreement that they are holding this in trust for the rightful owners. And political parties, yes, can engage in income generating activities through proper legal channels. So Wawat Securities applied for the license, got the license, and took the license and invited an investor. In this case, the investor was Mr. Fatouche, Pierre Michael Fatouche, who owns different companies in the world, including telecom companies in Eastern Europe and in West Africa. And the partnership between Wawat.
So what nationality is that, Fatouche?
Fatouche is a Lebanese originally.
Okay.
Pierre Michael Fatouche. And he died later. He died last year. So the partnership is 75 to Fatouche holding companies and 25 to Wawat Securities, which is an SPLM company. That is the joint venture, 75-25. And it is legal and the documents are there. So the SPLM owned 25 through Wawat Security. Two of the representative of Wawat Securities, who were members of the board of Vivacell, were the Secretary of Finance and Deputy Secretary of Finance. In our time, it was Gabriel Alap and Peter Agot. They were the representative of Wawat Securities, who own these shares for Wawat Securities, which is fully owned by the SPLM. That is fully legal under the laws of South Sudan. I do not own anything in Vivacell. Though Vivacell was stopped, it was operating very successfully. It was the best telecom company in South Sudan. It was offering the best services in South Sudan until, again, President Kiir tried to take over the 25% for SPLM after I left. And they could not do it. So in the end, they decided to stop the company from operating, I believe illegally. And this was to allow another telecom company, which has just been established, and they intended to take over its assets, the Vivacell assets. But of course, Fortush, the partner of SPLM company, Wawat, took the government of South Sudan to court. And there is a case of arbitration, I'm told. And that is about Vivacell. So I was not engaged. Vivacell does not belong to me. It was not my business. Yes, it was generating income to the SPLM. It was, at the time I left, Wawat Securities was receiving $100,000 to the SPLM finance every month. $100,000 every month to the SPLM. And you can ask the SPLM Secretary of Finance then or now, because definitely they have the records with them. And for your information, when I was investigated under the false claims that I was engaged in these corrupt deals, falsely, the facts came out in the report very clearly that this is a bona fide SPLM company. You can refer to the James Wani report, though it was politically motivated, but it was very clear there. And that is about Vivacell. Yes, I protected it, I nursed it, I helped it grow, but I was doing it for the country first, and secondly, for the SPLM. And I'm proud of what I have done. And anybody, these are public knowledge. They try to turn it around and say this belongs to Pagan and his family, what, all nonsense. Facts are there, and you can get them from the SPLM or even from the net, from the internet. These are and now the case between Fatouche and the government of South Sudan, I'm not involved in it. It is SPLM which is involved in it. And the SPLM has been speaking about its shares and its and what it has lost from what happened. So actually, the truth is that there has been an attempt to take over many businesses that the SPLM companies were involved in, and to privatize them and own them as individuals, which is basically looting the party itself. And there has been serious attempt right from the beginning to try to loot the monies of the SPLM. And we protected them. Maybe this is one of the reasons why I had also fallen out, because I wanted to protect the SPLM. The SPLM has a huge program and project, and it has to have resources to be able not only to train its cadres, but also to provide leadership.
Okay, on that point, exactly on that point of the need for the party to have, financial economic activities, income generating activities. It would have been better if you outsource these services to private instead of, and just concentrate on ruling, and managing the party and managing the country instead of managing both financial or economic activities and ruling at the same time, because that is where this conflict of interest comes in. If you and your family are involved in this one, and also competition between your company and the general public companies will not be fair. So this in entirety, it doesn't look right. What do you think?
No, actually, you are mixing up things again.
Yeah.
One, I am not involved in business. My family is not involved in business when I was the Secretary General. This, take it out of your mind. This is what I'm telling you. Now, the SPLM as an organization also was not involved directly in business. I just explained to you that the SPLM registered a company and trusted it to be managed by trustees on its behalf. And it is in the market, not as SPLM. It's actually a distant company. Even nobody knows who owns this company, because there are directors who are there, but they have the undertaking. That is precisely what it is, what happened. Now, any party, all parties in the world, they engage in income generating activities. They raise funds depending on what type of economy you are in. All political parties are, provided that they do business without, of course, making unfair business practices or using authority one way or the other, but engaging in competitive bidding as the laws of the country acquires. That is legitimate. Just take any ruling political party in the world today, in the West or in the East, you will find that this is there. Again, any political organization, to run its activities, it has also to manage its own budgets, which are, of course, budgets which are approved by in our case, the National Liberation Council, and the Political Bureau oversees the implementation of the budget of the SPLM as it is developed by the Secretariat, particularly the Secretariat of Finance and Administration. That is how political parties run. What is wrong is to engage in business as a public servant for your own gain, something which I was not involved in. And this must be made clear. And if any of you has any, or any of your viewers has anything that they can bring forward and say, no, you were involved in this, they can put it forward. And I will be here to answer to it. Another thing more important is that actually in South Sudan, there is also need for a proper independent investigation. Now that these accusations of corruption are being used, especially by the regime, as a tool to fight your opponent and make propaganda to destroy the names of or the image of your opponents. Therefore, there is need for us to agree that an independent forensic financial auditing and investigation be done for all the leaders, and let the facts be brought out by this independent body, and let everybody carry their own cross. Instead of engaging ourselves in accusation and counter-accusation in murky waters, where you cannot come forward with proofs or evidence, you just accuse somebody that you are corrupt. No, that will not help the country, and will not help also fight the corruption we are talking about. Thank you.